We are moving on now to the last sequence in the Liszt Berlioz mini cycle, and this time we are going to introduce another small symphonic poem, Symphonische Dichtung, as he called it, by Franz Liszt, called Orpheus. It's a very delicate, very beautiful, melodical, a little bit melancholic piece.
Atmospheric.
Atmospheric, kind of nostalgic.
And sort of filled with the gesture and sonority of the harp.
Yeah.
As you'd expect for Orpheus.
That's right. So we will do that piece as a starting item, and then we're going to introduce a newcomer as a guest artist. It's going to be a pianist. Her name is Ina Falix. She is a young pianist who was born in Odessa. She's from Odessa, Ukraine, but grew up here on the North Shore, went to Music Institute of Chicago, and now she is making wonderful career as a solo pianist. So she's going to perform Franz Liszt first piano concerto, another blockbuster.
Do you know, she played with me, I think, when she was 16 or 17, and she was already a really fine pianist at that age. It's going to be such a delight to hear her play this.
So was it probably 10, 12 years ago, something like that?
It was about 13 years ago.
I see.
Exactly.
I see.
I haven't changed, but I can tell that she has.
All right, so you see the first half is kind of very compact, and it is all best of Franz Liszt. And then the best of Berlioz, Symphonie Fantastique. We will be doing that. I just love this piece, Symphony Beyond Belief. It is a wonderful, very, very modern, radical, so many innovations. Although I always feel that it's actually, instead of 5 movements, I think it's actually in 2 parts, because the first 3 movements are very firmly written in a classical standard orchestration. The first movement and the waltz and the scene in fields. But the last 2 movements, the march, the scaffold, and Witch's Sabbath, is drastically different.
And this is another vein of romantic music, the supernatural.
Yeah.
When you think about, one of the most arch romantic pieces ever written, Der Freischütz of Weber, the supernatural element there, and it's really a wonderful variety of influences you have in this year's festival, from purely natural elements to the Faust, the literary.
Well,
things.
but here is another small footnote, Stephen, because Berlioz didn't get this supernatural idea from fairy tales. No, he got it from dope.
From opium. Don't do drugs. That's our official Peninsula Music Festival message.
So that is a special brand of supernatural.
Yes, exactly. One I've never experienced myself, except for the music.
Of course.
However, there is another influence which I have experienced. That's an influence behind this, and that is love, Berlioz, or infatuation. And that was the case here, because Berlioz was infatuated with a British Shakespearean actress, Harriet Smithson. Or from the British Isles.
Right.
Harriet Smithson.
That's right.
And they ultimately, long after he wrote this piece, were married, and it was, I guess, a disaster. Too bad.
Yeah, that is true. Because she was heavily involved in drinking, smoking, and opium as well.
What a couple.
But nevertheless, it is a brilliant piece of music. Absolutely brilliant.
Yes.
And so that's how we're going to finish our mini fest of Liszt and Berlioz. A lot of outside of music influences and ideas being interwoven in the context of music. By the way, when you said this actress, she also relates in a way to the first symphony which we're going to play in the Peninsula Music Festival, a Scottish symphony by Mendelssohn, because that's her background. You see?
Yeah.
So we have more more relationships.
There are lots of connections between each week of the festival.
Yes,
That's
yes,
kind of fun.
yeah.